My niece had only been alive for 5 months when my sister-in-law, Brittany, proudly posted online. "Doesn't my baby look just like a little Hollywood angel? Can she be a baby model?" Attached was a high-res close-up of the baby's face. The internet responded with brutal honesty. "Sorry, I don't sugarcoat. Leaving now." "This woman must be blind. Please stop. I'm eating." "Delete this. Immediately." Brittany, ever defensive, deleted every single negative comment, leaving behind a grand total of 0 likes. I, trying to be a decent neighbor, gently advised her to face reality and let go of this delusion. Then, the girl next door exploded into stardom as a child model. New car, new house, the works. Brittany burned with envy. She snapped at her daughter. "You could have been the one, honey. We could have had it all. If only your Aunt Claire hadn't blocked our path." From that day on, my niece resented me deeply. Years later, during a heated fight, she pushed me into the pool, even though she knew I couldn't swim. I drowned. But when I opened my eyes again, I was back on that very day, the day Brittany had first asked my opinion. "Hi everyone, I'm Claire. If you're reading this, congratulations. You found another jaw-dropping drama from your favorite writer. Follow me, and maybe your hair will grow fuller." Anyway, back to the story. This time, I stared at my niece, her face as wrinkly as a tiny grandma's, and smiled. "With a face like that?" I said sweetly. "She's born to be a star." Brittany beamed. She clutched her squishy, awkward-looking baby, bragging to anyone who'd listen. "Isn't Maddie just the cutest? I swear, she looks just like a mini Reese Witherspoon." I forced a smile. "Well, Brittany, if you really want to share her beauty, why not try a post on Facebook? I'm sure other moms with dreams of stardom would love it." She didn't detect my sarcasm. She picked what she thought was Maddie's best picture, posted it, and wrote, "Doesn't she look just like a Hollywood angel? Could she be a baby model?" She expected a flood of compliments. Instead, the comment section exploded. "Lady, turn off the mommy filter. Stop subjecting the internet to this nightmare. Are you trolling for attention?" She's the type to post hate bait just to sit on her phone and feel it vibrate. Brittany began furiously deleting comments, fingers moving so fast it was like sparks were about to fly from her screen. But it was a losing battle. Suddenly, she turned to me. "Claire, you're a designer, right? You've got the best taste in the family. Be honest, do you think Maddie has the potential?" Last time, I had told the truth, and was blamed for ruining their future. I was accused of blocking their road to riches. In the end, Brittany and Maddie had drowned me. Now, I saw that same greedy desperation in Brittany's eyes. So I smiled and said, "Absolutely. Maddie's got one of those high-fashion faces, small eyes, puffy lips, square jaw. It's a rare look. She's perfect for the camera." Brittany lit up. "You hear that, baby? Your Aunt Claire says you're destined for stardom. One day you'll be rich and famous, and you'll take care of your auntie, won't you?" "Sure. Just don't push me in a pool this time." She signed Maddie up for a high-end baby modeling boot camp. Maddie should have been in pre-K, but instead she was rehearsing catwalks, shooting awkward commercial reels, and being groomed for auditions. "Why do all the other kids get to go to school?" Maddie whined. "I want to go too." Brittany, cracking sunflower seeds on the couch, waved her off. "School? That's for losers. You're gonna be a celebrity. Reading books won't make you famous." I didn't interfere. No matter what I said, they'd twist it against me later. Maddie looked up at me with teary eyes. "Aunt Claire, I just want to go to school. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm so tired." Her wrinkled baby face scrunched up like an old paper bag. I had to lie. "Sweetheart, just listen to Mommy. She knows what's best for you." Brittany yanked Maddie away. "Come on, show your aunt that catwalk I taught you." Reluctantly, Maddie waddled forward, stiff and clumsy, like a penguin on roller skates. Brittany clapped like she'd just seen Heidi Klum reincarnated. "You see that? She's a natural." "Sure, a natural disaster." But I kept my poker face. "Maddie really walks her own path," I said diplomatically. "She's totally unconventional. Could even start a new trend." Brittany was thrilled. She later told me she had sold their house to afford this modeling dream. Burned through the entire family's savings. It was all or nothing. And she was aiming for everything. Chapter 2. The price of spotlight. Brittany was obsessed. Maddie's big modeling competition was just weeks away, and Brittany treated it like the Oscars. She bragged, "Claire, do you know how much I've invested in Maddie's future? Thousands. Do you know how much those runway classes cost? And the custom wardrobe? I haven't even told your brother I sold our house. All for the dream," she said, eyes wild. This industry's a money game. You burn the most, you rise the fastest. That's when I realized she'd emptied everything into this delusion. And for what? A second-rate contest run by a no-name agency, hyped up with fake prestige. I looked it up myself. The National Child Star Showcase? A scam cleverly marketed to milk desperate stage moms. But Brittany bought the fantasy wholesale. She was convinced Maddie would win, get scouted by a major agency, and even land a movie deal. She rehearsed Maddie like a drill sergeant. Every misstep was met with a whack from a bamboo stick. Back straight, chin up, walk like a star. Maddie's limbs flailed like a puppet with cut strings, and she often tumbled hard during practice. One night, tears streaming down her face, she ran to me. "Aunt Claire, please tell Mommy to stop. I don't want to do this anymore. I just want to go to school. Please." I didn't comfort her. Because in my last life, that same girl lured me to the pool and watched me drown, while her mother stood by, yelling that I'd ruined their future. So now? I didn't step in. Brittany grabbed Maddie by the wrist, ignoring the bruises forming on her arms. "You little brat, you think I didn't suffer for you? You know how many sleepless nights I've spent? You're this close to making it, and you want to throw it away?" Maddie pouted, then hid behind me. Brittany lost it. "Claire, stop coddling her." She snatched Maddie and ripped off her little dress, lashing her backside with the bamboo stick. Again and again. She made sure the welts were hidden under clothes, but deep enough to scar. "You better start performing. This is our only chance to make it." That night, Maddie lay quietly in her room, her mouth tightly shut over her chipped baby teeth, tears silently staining her pillow. And Brittany? She was busy editing Maddie's latest runway practice video for Instagram. She added sparkles, dramatic music, and a filter to hide Maddie's swollen eyes. She captioned it, "So proud of my baby. Haters gonna hate. This girl is destined to shine. #rising star #baby model queen." Then came the big day. Brittany handed me a ticket. "You have to come, Claire. You're going to witness a star being born." I tried to excuse myself, said I had work, but she'd already called in sick for me. She faked my absence with my boss. No point resisting. The national showcase was anything but glamorous. There weren't even greeters at the door. Cheap banners, folding chairs, sad music. The supposed celebrity judges? Just local actors and small-time influencers, but Brittany spun it. Those are assistants. The real stars are busy filming, of course. I stayed quiet. Maddie was first on stage. She wore a glittery pink puffball dress Brittany had custom ordered. But instead of looking like a princess, she looked like a frumpy doll. The moment the spotlight hit her, she froze. Stiff. Awkward. Then, bam. She tripped face first onto the stage. The whole auditorium erupted in laughter. Maddie's fall echoed. Brittany's face turned green. She stopped recording and clenched her fists. Backstage, she stormed up to Maddie and poked her forehead. "Do you even want this life? You embarrassed me in front of everyone. All the money I spent. For this?" I watched from the corner, saying nothing. Then, something unexpected happened. The host walked out with the results. Maddie's name was on the list of finalists. Brittany was speechless, then hysterical with joy. "My baby did it. I knew it wasn't for nothing." She hugged Maddie like a trophy and posted the certificate on Facebook. Everyone said she couldn't. Everyone laughed. But look who's laughing now. #MyDaughterTheStar. The likes poured in. So did the clout chasing. Someone commented, "Get me her autograph before she blows up." But I knew something wasn't right. Maddie had performed terribly. How did she make it? Then Brittany handed me a contract. "Can you look this over, Claire? The agency wants to sign Maddie right away." I read it. Buried in the fine print were insane clauses. Massive penalty fees, exploitative terms, even surgical enhancement clauses if the child wasn't aesthetically marketable enough. This wasn't a modeling contract. It was a trap. But I didn't say a word. I just smiled and handed it back. I'm just a designer, Brittany. Legal stuff's your thing. She grabbed a pen and signed without hesitation. Anything to make her famous, she whispered. Then she turned to me with a smug grin. You know what, Claire? You should quit your job. Be Maddie's stylist full-time. Use that fancy degree of yours for something useful. I didn't argue, because the fall hadn't happened yet, but it was coming. And it would be spectacular. Chapter 3. Maddie, the Investment. Brittany had fully bought into the dream, and the agency knew it. Soon after signing the contract, the company began making demands. Maddie's look needs refinement, they said. She has potential, but she needs adjustments. At first, Brittany didn't bat an eye. I've always thought her features could use a little polish, she told me. Nothing major. Just enough to make her look like a porcelain doll. That's when I realized she'd never been blind to Maddie's flaws. She just refused to admit them out loud. Now that an agency confirmed it, she took it as gospel. And the agency had a partner clinic, a backdoor cosmetic surgery center operating without licenses, known only through whispers and sketchy back alley referrals. Maddie was barely 7. Her face, already awkward, would need extensive reshaping, nose bridge implants, a lip sealing, eye widening, and double eyelids, all to fit some twisted synthetic ideal of a child star. I watched Maddie lying in the recovery bed afterward, her face wrapped entirely in gauze like a mummy. Her eyes were swollen shut. Her lips trembled as she whispered, "Aunt Claire, it hurts. I don't want to be a model anymore." I gently pulled her hand off mine, because even if I tried to save her, again, it would only come back to bite me. Maddie would never trust me over her mother. She never had, not even when she watched me die. Brittany, meanwhile, sat by the bed feeding her daughter soup. "Stop whining. This pain is nothing. You think real stars get there without sacrifice? You'd better suck it up, or next time you'll be sleeping on the sidewalk." Maddie stopped complaining. She drank the soup. But the surgery had consequences. The scars never fully healed. Her already awkward features were now grotesquely unnatural. Her double eyelids were too wide, like a sad frog. Her nose jutted out like a rooftop antenna. Her mouth, with its forced Korean half-smile, made her look like she was laughing even when she cried. Brittany didn't care. "You look more and more like a little angel every day," she gushed, snapping photos of Maddie's swollen face. Then she posted online, "Don't worry, fans, Maddie's healing great. Next shoot is coming soon." The truth? Maddie had no fans, only hate followers. But Brittany had made herself the head of Maddie's unofficial fan club, deleting negative comments and soaking up the toxic attention. Meanwhile, Maddie started to change. She became obsessed with mirrors, trying to get a glimpse of her post-surgery face. Brittany hid every mirror in the house. "You don't need to see yourself," she said. "You just need to look good on camera. That's what matters." She applied thick, heavy makeup on Maddie, posed her from flattering angles, and edited the hell out of each image. Then she shoved the final product in Maddie's face. "See? This is how you look now. Remember it." And somehow, it worked. The internet loved Maddie's transformation. Or rather, they loved to hate it. Trolls flooded the comments. But some began to admire her dedication, calling her a warrior for sacrificing her face for fame. That's when Brittany found a new niche. The sugar-spicy Lolita aesthetic. Think, innocent and seductive all at once. Brittany bought Maddie revealing dresses, added props, gave her thick lashes, red cheeks, and glossy lips. She posed her like a mini adult, right at the edge of what was acceptable. Maddie became a viral sensation. Creepy men started commenting. Some sent private messages, others offered money. Instead of shutting it down, Brittany leaned in. Sometimes she even joined Maddie on camera. They dressed alike, pouted alike, winked at the lens together. The agency loved it. They boosted their videos, hired bots to spam comments, and promoted them on social media. Maddie was finally blowing up. Brittany posted bragging screenshots of follower counts and revenue charts. "Finally, we made it. Maddie is fire. Look how far we've come." But I knew exactly how far they'd gone. Too far. The agency announced an in-person fan meet. They claimed it was to bring Maddie closer to her supporters. But who those fans were, and what they really wanted, was left disturbingly vague. I watched it all unfold from the sidelines, my stomach in knots. And Brittany? She just laughed in my face. Some people were born to shine, she sneered. And some people, like you, are just born to stay in the shadows. She was drunk on clout, and she had no idea how close she was to the edge. Because if there's one thing the internet loves more than building someone up, it's tearing them down. Chapter 4, The Fall Begins. It wasn't long before Brittany's greed pushed the envelope too far. Maddie's online fame, built on controversy, shock value, and manipulated innocence, was starting to spiral out of control. The more traffic their videos got, the more disturbing the content became. Maddie was no longer a child. She was a product. Her makeup grew thicker. Her outfits skimpier. Brittany's captions became more provocative. Eventually she began filming skits. Mother and daughter cosplay, dancing, role-play scenarios that clearly weren't meant for kids. But instead of pulling back, Brittany pushed harder. "Claire," she bragged one afternoon, "do you know how many VIPs messaged us this week? Maddie's got fans with money. We're getting invited to private events now." My heart dropped. "I hope you know what you're doing," I said coldly. She laughed in my face. "Spare me the lecture. You think you're better than me because you have a degree and a job? I've already made more in 6 months than you did in 6 years. It was pointless arguing with her. But someone else finally noticed. My brother, Eric, Maddie's dad. He'd been oblivious for months, too busy working, assuming Brittany was simply a hands-on mom. But now he noticed, and Brittany and Maddie were gone most nights. Maddie barely spoke. The house was full of ring lights, makeup kits, wigs, and piles of fan gifts. One night, Eric confronted her. "What the hell is going on? Why does our daughter look like a Vegas lounge act?" Brittany snapped. "You think you can suddenly show up and judge me? You've been out working while I sacrificed everything for her future." "You sacrificed her," he shouted. "You dressed her like a grown woman, paraded her around for men, and shoved her in front of cameras. She's not a tool." He slapped the phone out of her hand. She lost it, screaming, clawing at him, shoving him against the wall. The fight escalated fast. Hair was pulled, faces scratched. By the end of it, Brittany's mascara was running, and Eric had a bloody lip. That night, Brittany stormed out with Maddie. She called me on the way to a motel. "Claire, can we stay with you for a few nights? Just till I find a new place?" I told her no. "House isn't available. Sorry." She sneered. "Whatever. I've got money. We'll stay in a hotel. Better than your rat hole anyway." She checked Maddie and herself into a cheap extended stay and never contacted Eric again. From then on, Brittany declared herself Maddie's sole manager. No more distractions, no more husbands, just the brand. But as their content got darker, public opinion started to shift. Maddie's transformation from awkward child to painted-up Lolita had caught the internet's attention, for the wrong reasons. At first, they laughed. Then they got angry. "This is straight-up exploitation. Where's CPS? Who lets their kid dress like this? I'm reporting this account." Now, even Brittany couldn't delete fast enough. Private messages became violent. Some users threatened to expose her real name, her location, even Maddie's school records. Some were sexual, some were deranged. And still, Brittany pressed on, chasing the clout, until it all came crashing down. The official notice hit their page like a bomb. Account permanently banned. The reason? Content harmful to minors. Sexual exploitation. Violations of platform guidelines. Brittany went into full meltdown. All the followers, all the sponsorships, all the money. Gone. She made a desperate apology video, rambling, crying, blaming jealous haters and cancel culture. But it was too late. The agency dropped them immediately. Not only that, they turned around and sued Brittany for damages to their brand, citing Maddie's immoral conduct and public scandal. They demanded a huge breach of contract penalty. Brittany tried to argue, but she had signed the papers. The clauses were airtight. She was ruined. The house? Already sold. The motel bills? Mounting. Her bank account? Empty. She called me again. "Claire, you still have some savings, right? Please. For Maddie?" I hung up. Because I knew the truth, Brittany didn't care about Maddie. Not really. She just wanted a second chance at the spotlight. I messaged back one thing. You should take this up with the agency. Or maybe the training school. I hear lawsuits work both ways. In a final act of desperation, Brittany showed up at the child modeling academy she once worshipped and threw a screaming fit. The staff had her escorted off the property by police. No money. No followers. No friends. Brittany and Maddie ended up renting a decaying one-bedroom on the outskirts of town. The paint peeled. The water ran cold. And Maddie? She wasn't a star anymore. She was a burden. A constant reminder of what Brittany had lost. And Brittany made sure she knew it. Chapter 5. Maddie's New Life in the Shadows. Once Maddie lost her influencer status, she stopped being a cash cow and became a thorn in Brittany's side. The resentment was instant. "Mom, I want to go to school. I want to play with other kids," Maddie whispered one night. Brittany rolled her eyes. "You think you're normal now? After everything I did for you? School won't fix you." But eventually, even Brittany had to face reality. They were broke. No more agencies, no more sponsors, no more gigs. The only way to keep the child occupied and off her back was to dump her in the cheapest public school she could find. Maddie enrolled, but it was already too late. She couldn't keep up. While other kids had learned to read and write, Maddie had been learning how to walk in heels and smile through pain. She struggled with even the basics: math, spelling, social skills. Teachers labeled her slow. Classmates mocked her weird makeup scars and distant eyes. No one wanted to be her friend. The whispers followed her through the hallways. "Isn't she that creepy kid from the internet? Didn't her mom sell her or something? Her face looks like a broken Barbie." After only a few weeks, Maddie dropped out. She couldn't take the bullying. Couldn't bear the shame. Back at home, she hovered around Brittany constantly. Cooking, cleaning, waiting for attention that never came. Brittany snapped. "Jesus, Maddie, go do something. Get a job, earn some money. What, you think I'm gonna carry your dead weight forever?" So she found Maddie a job. Not a real one. A gray market one. At just 13, Maddie started working nights at a downtown karaoke bar, posing as a hostess. The owner didn't care she was underage, as long as she wore makeup and smiled for tips. Each night she'd paint on a fake face, slip into a revealing dress, and entertain middle-aged men who laughed too loud and touched too much. Maddie hated it. She hated the smell of cologne and cigarettes, the way her feet ached in cheap heels, the fake compliments, the way every customer stared too long. But she said nothing. She swallowed it. Because even now, part of her still believed what Brittany had always told her. You were born to be seen. No one cares about the real you. This is your only shot. Sometimes she came home past midnight, reeking of alcohol, and Brittany would still scold her. "That's it? That little money? You're not even worth the tips you wear." And Maddie would just stare, hollow-eyed, and go wash up in silence. But something was brewing inside her. One night, after another long shift, Maddie staggered home and barely had time to kick off her heels before Brittany shouted, "Get me some water for my feet." Maddie froze. Then, finally, after years of humiliation, trauma, and pain, she broke. She grabbed the old bamboo stick Brittany used to beat her with, and snapped. She hit her. Over and over, Brittany screamed, trying to flee, but Maddie kept swinging, tears pouring down her cheeks, rage bubbling out in screams she didn't even understand. She chased Brittany to the stairwell, cornered her, and with one final shove, pushed her. Brittany fell. Head first. The sound of her skull cracking against the concrete echoed like a bell. She never woke up. Just like I hadn't, all those years ago. Chapter 6. The Ghost of a Starlet. The sirens came fast. Police, ambulance, news crews, neighbors gathered, reporters whispered. A body bag was wheeled out of the stairwell. But what really haunted everyone wasn't Brittany's death. It was what the cops found standing nearby. Maddie. Covered in smudged makeup. Wearing a torn satin dress, face streaked with blood, sweat, and glitter. And smiling. Or trying to. Her expression flickered. Half cry, half grin, like someone who'd forgotten which mask to wear. The cops called it a mental health episode. She didn't resist. Didn't cry. Just kept mumbling the same sentence to every officer. Mom said I had to be pretty. Always. At first, people thought she was a runaway, a victim, maybe even possessed. But then came the viral clip. Someone had caught Maddie on camera earlier that week, wandering through a school playground, barefoot, eyeliner running, asking little kids if they wanted to go be famous. When a mom scolded her child for talking to strangers, Maddie lunged, snarling, grabbing the kid's hand like she was trying to steal them away. "I'll save you," she hissed. "Before your mom ruins you too." Security dragged her off the school grounds, but she kept showing up around town. Underpasses, fast food joints, empty malls. Always half-dressed, always muttering to herself. The public quickly decided Maddie wasn't just disturbed. She was dangerous. I found out what happened from my brother Eric. His life had crumbled. He'd discovered Brittany had long since mortgaged the house for cash, and defaulted. Everything was gone. He was broke, alone, and for the first time, fully awake. He blamed himself. If I'd paid attention earlier, if I'd stopped her. His voice always trailed off. But his guilt never did. Eric tried to make things right. He filed reports, went public with Maddie's story, gave interviews warning other parents about child modeling scams. He fought to expose the agencies, the fake contests, the underground clinics. And slowly, he gained traction. Eventually, his efforts led to the investigation and shutdown of the very modeling school that started it all. But Maddie? She wasn't arrested. She was declared clinically unfit, too unstable, too traumatized, too young to prosecute. She was committed to a psychiatric facility for evaluation. Eric fought to get her out. He wanted to be her father again. He swore to care for her this time, to fix everything. And he did get custody, for a while. But Maddie didn't recognize him. To her, father meant nothing. Family was just a faded costume. She only remembered her mother. The shrieking, the mirrors, the lights, the bruises, the smell of stage makeup and cheap perfume. She believed anyone who tried to help her was trying to control her again. So when Eric tried to hug her one morning, she panicked. They struggled, and Maddie pushed him, just like she had Brittany, down a flight of concrete stairs. Eric died on impact. Chapter 7. The Final Transformation. After Eric's death, there were no more relatives, no more advocates, no more lawsuits or press, just Maddie and the streets. She slipped through the cracks of the system, her mental health file marked with too many red flags for any foster home to accept her. She bounced between temporary shelters, then disappeared entirely. No one knew where she went, until someone posted a blurry photo on Reddit. A young girl, barefoot, wrapped in a ratty shawl, curled up under a highway overpass, drawing something in the dirt with a stick. The comments flooded in. "That's the Maddie girl, right? From the scandal? Didn't she, kill her mom or something? She was famous once, now she's a ghost." More photos followed. She was spotted sleeping behind a 7-Eleven, eating crackers from a dumpster, watching kids through a schoolyard fence. And every time she looked the same. Fragile, disfigured, but oddly serene. She never spoke to anyone, but sometimes she'd sit outside elementary schools, listening to teachers through the windows, mouthing along as if she still wanted to learn. Like she was trying to relive the childhood that had been stolen from her. It was heartbreaking and a little eerie. No one dared approach her. Her scarred face had grown even more uncanny. The failed surgery and the years of trauma had given her a permanent mask. Too smooth, too stretched, too artificial. Sometimes, she smiled at strangers. But it was the kind of smile that made you look away. I saw her once. From a distance. She was crouched under the train bridge near my apartment, wearing a coat that was at least 5 sizes too big, holding a cracked makeup mirror and tracing her own reflection with a trembling finger. I almost called out to her. Almost. But then I remembered what she did to me in the last life. And to her own parents in this one. She had been shaped into something unrecognizable, by Brittany, by the industry, by the hungry eyes of strangers. She was no longer Maddie. She was what remained. A relic of obsession. A scar of ambition. And maybe for her, madness was the only form of freedom left. Chapter 8. No way back. Years passed. People moved on. The internet forgot. New scandals took over. New children were shoved in front of ring lights and phone cameras. Maddie became a ghost story, an urban myth whispered in parenting forums and social media threads. Remember that girl? The one whose mom tried to make her famous? Didn't she end up homeless? Or dead? But I knew she was still alive. I thought about reaching out, taking her in, giving her a second chance. I'd been free from Brittany's shadow for years, finally living my own quiet, safe life. Maybe I could try again. Maybe Maddie could still be saved. But then I learned what she'd done to Eric. She didn't recognize him as her father. She thought he was another threat, another manipulator, another person who wanted to put her in makeup and make her smile. And she killed him. No, I couldn't help her. Maddie had crossed a line so deeply etched into her soul that there was no returning. Not even love could drag her back. She'd grown into her madness like a second skin. Unpeeling it would have killed what little of her was left. The last anyone saw of her, she was sitting outside an elementary school in the suburbs, legs folded neatly, dirt smudged across her cheeks. She had a notebook someone must have thrown out, and a half-broken crayon. She was scribbling words, not nonsense, sentences, spelling drills, math problems. She never enrolled. She never spoke to the teachers. But she listened. Every day. The principal eventually called social services. But by the time they arrived, she was gone again, vanished like always, back into the alleys, the underpasses, the cracks in the world where people like her slipped and never climbed back out. They never found her again. Not really. Sometimes I think Maddie's story should have ended with justice, or redemption, or at least peace. But life rarely gives those to girls like her. What she got was madness. And maybe that was the only escape she ever had. The only ending she was allowed. The end. Subscribe for more stories. Updates every day.